It was only a matter of time before someone with the title as prestigious as the mortal stronger than a god of destruction would claim power worthy of a title like that. While Goku without a doubt set the stage for any future instances of Ultra Instinct, this power wasn't unique to him in particular in Dragon Ball Super. During the battle with Moro, Goku goes on to not only perfect this form or technique, but in the following years, Goku had chosen to undergo training another pupil as well, in this case, Broly. From the first time they battled, Broly displayed that he was far beyond the average Saiyan with incredible talent and power, being stronger than both Goku and Vegeta back then. But Goku has long since ascended past those days. After all of their training together, in an effort to test the true depths of Broly's strength, Goku offers the idea of him having a sparring match against one of the strongest guys he himself knows, Universe 11's very own Jiren. This is an original fan manga by Monty Black called Dragon Ball Super Broly vs Jiren that takes place in the years following the end of the Moro arc. In our previous video, Broly and Jiren's battle began under the jurisdiction of the Grand Priest and the Omni Kings. However, instead of a friendly exhibition, to the surprise of everyone involved now, the Grand Priest announces that this will now proceed as a death match. Pound for pound, these two gargantuan powerhouses are among the best the multiverse has to offer, and seeing Broly and Jiren do battle is a once-in-a-lifetime dream fight where, even given the recent circumstances, Goku is enjoying every second of this. When both fighters excel to their full powers, a single clash of fists is all it takes for them to shatter the barrier of reality, enclosing them in this dimension and transporting them away while they fight elsewhere. In a battle of skill and ability, I think we can all agree that Jiren has the edge here with his mountainous experience in training compared to Broly. However, the absolute primal strength, resilience, and adaptability by Broly is a driving factor in keeping him in this battle. Even after having his internal organs ruptured and his back completely obliterated, Broly's never-ending power continues to grow as his transformation even heals those prior wounds. In a burst of fury, harnessing his true power and utilizing that same icy glare from the tournament, Jiren pummels Broly for what seems like hours on end, until he finally kicks Broly in the face and sends him flying by blasting him with his feet. This starts to look like it could be the end for our Saiyan, but the rage boiling over within Broly rips his eyes open as he counters Jiren and then attempts to counter with a blast of his own as well, leading to a huge beam struggle. Evenly matched in power at the moment, Jiren decides that since Broly has shown him the depths of his power, now it's time for him to finally unveil his true secret. Upon calming his aura, Jiren perfectly aligns his mind, body, and spirits, and when his eyes open, that mythical silver hue has taken over. Since his crushing defeat in the Tournament of Power and witnessing the awesome might of Son Goku, Jiren has now gone on to master Ultra Instinct for himself, propelling him far beyond even the might he showed in the tournament. If you guys have really been feeling Dragon Ball Super Broly vs Jiren and would love for this manga to continue, Monty's Twitter will be down in the description box below, so be sure to go hit him up and let him know how much you love his story. Don't forget to have those notifications on by clicking the bell icon down below to never miss a single upload as soon as they go live. And if you have been enjoying all of the anime content recently, guys, consider leaving a like on this video as well. It really helps out a lot and honestly is just the best way to help support the video, so I really appreciate it, fellas. Be sure to follow on both Twitch and Twitter to stay up with me and all anime related content. But without further ado, as a new chapter begins in this historic battle that's now escalated to Ultra Instinct Jiren vs Super Broly, the two warriors stand across from each other before their next engagement begins. As the two glare at one another, Goku comments about how it really is no surprise that Jiren pulled off something like this. Seeing Goku unlock a power beyond his own must have been his motivation, Whis says, as Velmont comments that Jiren was already close. All he needed was a little bit of control. The raging heat that once swirled within him has now been tamed, and now, Jiren has complete control. Darn, Beerus starts. Another mortal achieves this state before me, he says in annoyance. The two Zenos seem to be enjoying the fight, at least, that they now all spectate safely from the origin of the tournament through an orb that the Grand Priest created. As we cut back to the battle, Broly's power erupts once more as he releases a barrage of blasts from his aura at Jiren, who continues to glare. Jiren doesn't move a muscle as the attacks close in, and this is when they explode. All of a sudden, in an instant, Jiren has appeared right in Broly's face. So Broly attempts to smash his head in between his hands, but Jiren avoids this as well with incredible and untraceable speed. An excruciating amount of pain begins to display itself on Broly's face as we see that Jiren has now phased behind him, almost as if walking directly through him. With a hand to his side that we never saw move, Jiren clenches his fist and, using an attack similar to what Goku used on him in the tournament, the entirety of all damage dealt on Broly's body in those milliseconds prior is released all at once, contorting his body and nearly taking him out. This is when Jiren appears in front of him again, holding his outstretched palm to his face, and as he looks to finish this fight, he releases another point-blank energy blast right in Broly's face. A helpless Broly is sent flying by Jiren's attack, as the extent of Jiren's power is enough to continuously send cracks throughout the dimension. Jiren must have been training even harder than we have, Goku says, watching the battle in awe but never expecting Jiren to take control to this degree. This could be really bad, especially for Broly, Whis adds. Velmont, however, doesn't find this outcome surprising at all, as this is Jiren we're talking about here. Jiren flies across from where Broly has finally landed as he awaits for him to make his next move. This is when an explosion sets off from Broly's location as he bursts into the sky, soaring above them. Jiren seems rather unbothered still as he turns around to notice Broly in the sky. However, something is happening to Broly. His energy is ramping even more uncontrollably than before. Broly heaves and pants as his aura resonates around him almost like a barrier, but he's becoming even more exhausted by the looks of it, and it would seem his wound is even opened back up. "You seem to be lacking quite a bit of composure," Jiren says to him after observing Broly's fighting style over the course of the fight. "You have immense power, and yet, you have no idea how to properly control it. But know this," he goes on in an increasingly serious tone, "you will never triumph over me." These words echoed in Broly's unstable mind, coupled with the nightmarish thoughts of losing everything, completely snapped something within him as he spirals into an uncontrollable rage, with Jiren just looking on. His power increases even more, but Broly's overflowing might is slowly changing him into something else. The piercing light from his energy illuminates the entire orb that the spectators were watching them in, as the entire climate of their battle begins to shift and everything seems to be orbiting around Broly. With the smoke and debris finally dying down, Jiren looks on as Broly's transformation comes to a completion. In an absolute fit of rage that could only be enticed with a power such as Ultra Instinct, Broly has gone far beyond even the monstrous power he possessed prior, and transformed into a fully powered legendary Super Saiyan 3. With a new look coupled along with a new frightening amount of power that could overwhelm that of the gods, Broly's transformation completely astonishes Goku. "That transformation," Whis begins to comment, "it lacks control, but that amount of power could compete with even the angels. You could merge with anyone," he says, looking at Goku. "Even potentially fusing with my father may have no threat to this kind of power." Goku's initial reaction to hearing this statement is about the same as anyone else's would be hearing this, that Broly, with his own Saiyan power and untrained by the gods at all, now rivals those very deities. Broly begins to descend back to the ground as he lands before Jiren with an enormous thud. He slowly gets to his feet, standing across the single strongest opponent he's ever faced, and to be able to push him to this level, but even with the power that rivals that of the angels now, Broly will need much more than raw strength to overcome the divine technique that is Ultra Instinct. Jiren continues to firmly stand his ground as the chapter comes to an end, with Broly charging at his opponent. To think that Broly still had this much more potential, this much more power, is absolutely mind-boggling. Ultra Instinct at first was thought to be the pinnacle, but now, as a mere training tool to push this Saiyan warrior over the edge, and now, we truly get to see what a full-power Super Saiyan 3 Broly with his limits completely shattered can do against a man who was already perceived as stronger than a god.